I haven't played Dark and Darker seriously in quite some time since I've been very busy competing and scrimming and all this stuff in Deadlock. But when I returned for this wipe, all of the features that they've added are absolutely amazing. And this video is going to serve as more of an in-depth discussion on each of these features, maybe some implications of these features, some things that I think are good, bad, etc., etc. So the big thing that I want to highlight before I discuss all of these changes is this thing that I view as a balance, or the balance, whatever. So clearly, this wipe, Iron Mace has took a bit more of a casual approach to the game, in the sense that, you know, oh, you can leave whenever, you can go down to red whenever, you know, portals open very early, the continuous matchmaking system, all this stuff, right? And I think this is all great. However, it's important that the flip side of the coin, right? Arena is developed well, fleshed out well, made to be well, etc., etc. Because how I envision the future of the game is to be like, you know, oh, you go into the dungeon, you get your stuff, you go loot, and then you bring all this stuff you got, your crafting mats, your gear, your minted gear, your socketed stuff into the arena, and then that's where the PvP happens now. PvP will still happen, I'm sure, in the regular dungeon, but I think what Iron Mace wants to do is create that like two sides of the coin kind of thing. We got the casual, you know, dungeon, and then we have the PvP try hard, sweaty arena. They need to incentivize both. They need to make both really fun. They need to make the arena rewards really good. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to highlight before I discuss any of these changes. And it's good that I highlight this because going into the first new edition, the continuous matchmaking system, I would be not okay with the system if Arena didn't exist, because the continuous matchmaking system makes it very difficult for people to PvP and have fair engagements, because they can just go down red or blue immediately, right, with no repercussion whatsoever, to just avoid the fight in general. Obviously, you know, maybe you will say, oh, I've seen people not take these portals and, you know, decide to fight and the fight goes well, whatever, right? That's good. But basically in solos, if you just want to be a rat, you could just be a rat and never get punished for it if you're a druid, right? In regards though to my thoughts on the continuous matchmaking system, I think it's good. I like being able to go up and down whenever I want. It removes a lot of waiting time. However, the dungeon really doesn't feel continuous. The only thing that feels continuous about it is the ability to go down and up. I don't really notice people, you know, coming in. I do notice that like there might be more than like 4 or 5 teams third partying me or whatever, but besides that, I don't really feel it that much. I don't really feel like the new people coming in. Sometimes the lobbies are very dead. Sometimes the lobbies are very packed. It's never the in-between. But overall, I really like it. I think it's great. It feels awesome. Feels very dynamic, very awesome. So the next feature is the random dungeon generation system. I'm gonna be honest, I love it. I don't think there's any downside to this. I think it's probably one of the best features they've added in a very long time. And I think that they should implement this with every map before they release the next map. Every map, honestly, should be random, except maybe Ice Abyss and Hell. I think those are the 2 exceptions. The reason for that is that those final few maps, it would be nice to have them be static, since, like, you know, the Ice Abyss has the Wyvern in the middle, and you never want to have the Wyvern be anywhere else other than the middle. I think it'll kill from the field of the map. And Hell having the same thought process, in my opinion, from Ice Abyss is pretty important. But yeah, I think this feature is absolutely amazing. It actually feels very fun now to explore the dungeon and to walk around. I do recognize specific modules, and I think that keeping those specific modules in there to where you understand the layout is perfect. It's that perfect in between where like you can reward long time knowledge of playing the game, right? So you learn the modules, you know, because instead what it used to be is like, oh, this is map 4 out of 6, okay, so we got to go here, here, here. But instead, you know, while it is still random, it's still you can still identify these modules you're in and whatnot. So I think that this system is great. They just need to do it in every map. 100%. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Next feature is the Fog of War. I think it works quite well with the random dungeon generation system. I think that both are essential for that, you know, new feel to explore the dungeon and whatnot. The only thing that I will say about the Fog of War is that it's pretty annoying when like your team explores some part of the dungeon and you don't explore it, but it's not showing up on your map. That is like my only critique. But besides that, you know, maybe it's a little too small sometimes, the Fog of War, like the radius in which you reveal. Maybe they increase that a little bit. Otherwise, it feels fantastic. It feels like I'm playing Dark and Darker, honestly, for the first time again. And it's been feeling like that every single time I go down to Crypts. Right, so I don't know, it's just amazing. I love it. To kind of finish up here, the endless portal, I think it's pretty good. You know, you can literally kill the boss, leave whenever you want. It's that same kind of, I have that same kind of feeling I have with the continuous matchmaking system. It just feels good to like leave the dungeon once you've killed that boss, you know, just have that ability, because you should be rewarded for doing that. And the socketing, it's pretty cool as well. I think it can be a little confusing for players sometimes. When I was first trying to learn it, it was very confusing for me. I think maybe adding a little bit of a tutorial or guide or something for the socketing system could be quite beneficial. The system though is great and it's easy to use once you learn it. It was just like for me to learn it and whatnot, it was a little challenging. Besides that though, I think it's just fantastic how it provides value to these treasures that you would just usually sell to the merchant, but now, you know, when you pick up a sapphire or a ruby or a diamond, you kind of think twice before you vendor it. It's amazing and fantastic. The Sorcerer is also the new class. I kind of forgot about it. I think the Sorcerer, it's in a really weird spot, in my opinion. I don't really understand the direction of where they were going with the Sorcerer, and I kind of shared my thoughts to my friends like Apollo and Todd and all of them. Or not Todd, but Apollo and Kenny and who else was there? Cheezer. And they didn't really agree with me, but in my opinion, the identity of the Sorcerer I think is a little weird, because while you do have damaging spells like the Wizard, you also have utility spells like the Wizard. The only main difference I would say between the Sorcerer and the Wizard is like the Sorcerer doesn't actually ever run out of spells. They run out of the cooldown, you know, you gotta wait 20 seconds to use that spell again. The Wizard, you know, they have to rest and sit down to get their spells back. I mean, I think that like the Sorcerer spells are a little telegraphed sometimes. I know Lightning Storm was a little aid to deal with, and that was very OP. But as far as I understand, that's pretty nerfed right now, and it's not really viable anymore in Sorcerer. But like when Apollo is playing it, like the abilities are a little telegraphed. Like it's this bolts that like takes a second to travel, this water ball that like just sits there for a second. The ability is like, I don't know, it just feels like a little bit of a worse Wizard to me, perhaps. Don't know if you guys feel the same way. I like the utility that it has through, like, you know, the levitate, the ice sword, the summons, the AoE lightning defensive ability. I think all that's great. It's just like it feels weird, and I don't know where it quite fits in the whole entire, you know, identity of the. I just don't know where it fits. That's the best way to say it. It's like, but it does damage, it has utility, and like it's kind of the same thing as Wizard. But yeah, I understand that some people are a bit frustrated over like the abilities being able to one-shot, but those abilities are extremely easy to dodge sometimes, some of them. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, that's my thoughts on the Sorcerer. But yeah, overall, I think that this wipe is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I kind of fell in love with this game once again, with this continuous dungeon, the random dungeons, all this. I kind of want to play all the time now. It's a pretty nice thing for me to have, because Deadlock right now is a bit, it's not dead per se, it's just kind of chilling because it's the holidays. Not a lot of teams are doing anything, there's not a lot of tournaments or anything like that, so it's nice to have this back. I love this wipe, absolutely love it. 10 out of 10. Feels like a Christmas present from Iron Mace to us and whatnot. It's honestly probably like the best wipe in my opinion they've ever released. But yeah, definitely, they just need to make sure that any kind of dungeon they add from here on out, any kind of new map, it needs to have this random dungeon generation shit. Like, the random dungeon generation system is probably the best feature they've ever added. So yeah, these are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, and much love. See you guys later.